Yeah, let's do it.
That's
Good.
ready.
Good.
Chad Brendel, Bearcat Journal, here with defensive coordinator, Coach Brown. A big class defensively, and your first real chance to kind of put your stamp on this defense as a whole. What were you looking to get, and how well do you feel you accomplished most of those goals?
Well, I think the biggest thing we wanted to look for is number one was character. Was guys that wanted to be here. That want to come in and not be a selfish player. They want to do things for their teammates. That want to come in and compete each and every day in practice, to make sure that they're the best as well as their team. So that was the first and foremost thing. The next thing was speed. You got to have speed in this league. And in order to do so, especially in the back end, and you got to be a little bit longer as well. So you see we got some 6'6" corners and safeties and whatnot, and you got to have some more length, but you got to have speed. You got to be able to cover in the back end. So we got some guys that can cover. And then up front, we wanted more speed, as opposed to, your typical run stopping defense and things of that nature. You got to have guys get after the passer. And that's one thing that we lacked this past season. And that's what we look for. We got Lededrick and, Garrison and Marquez, out of that deal. And I think we'll be able to get after the pass a little bit better this year.
Let's go one by one.
Let's do it.
On these guys. We'll go down the list I've got.
Yeah.
So no specific order.
Okay.
But calm down. Simeon Coleman, he's got the hit stick button.
Yes, he does. Simeon is a really good football player out of Maryland, man, that we got, and he reminds me of some of the guys we've had in the past. And I think Simeon can, like you call him the hit stick, he can get downhill in the area, but Simeon can run as well, and that's the one thing you got to have in this league. You got to have linebackers at that second level that can run and can make tackles, and it's going to be a lot of one-on-one tackles, a lot in this league, and you got to be able to make them. And Simeon has strong hands, and he most definitely can do so as well.
Willie Goodwin, 6'1", 175, kid out of Alabama.
Yes,
corner.
He's actually playing ball in Raven County in Georgia.
Okay.
So that's where he is, and just a long, athletic corner that I am so glad we were able to hold on to because he's a freak of an athlete. His arms, he probably can stand up straight and probably scratch his knees. That's how long he is. He's really, really long. And so I really love Willie. Great kid, come from a great family. Really smart, understands the game. A tad bit raw just at the corner position, just a little bit. He plays all over the place. But he's going to be a good get. A long kid that can run. That's what you have to have in this league. We got to get more longer DBs and that can run, and he's one of them.
The next guy is a guy we need to be great, just on nickname alone. Gravy Johnson, Zarabian Gravy Johnson. We've had Sauce.
That's right.
Like it's the age-old Italian debate,
right.
right? Do you call it sauce or do you call it gravy?
That's right. Hopefully he can live up to the nickname, right?
6'3", 180, out
Yeah.
of Clinton, South Carolina,
Yeah.
and a kid that looks like he's got a chance to not come in and start or whatever,
Yes.
but he's got a chance to
Yes.
be an impact guy.
Absolutely. Zay is a
You
kid.
don't call him gravy?
I don't call him gravy yet.
He's got to earn it.
He's gonna
Like
earn
Sauce
it.
had to earn
He's
Sauce.
gonna earn it.
Gravy's got to earn
Sauce
gravy.
had to earn his.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Luke still
Gotcha.
calls him a mom.
Oh, really?
He doesn't call him Sauce.
Well, Zay is a good one now. You're right. Zay has the length that you wanted at that position. And a matter of fact, I think Sauce may have been here one of the days right before Gravy was here.
You did it.
I did it. but because I went from Sauce right to Gravy. But I think they were close by. I can't remember if they were here the same day or whatnot. But they look identical from where, when he was coming out of high school in a way, and I think that kid is going to be special, and I'm excited about him. I can't wait to get him here, and he's an early enrollee too. So it's great we can get him on the ground running immediately and put some weight on him and get him faster and get him stronger. And I'm really excited about him.
I can tell you this: if he's really 180,
Yeah.
he doesn't look anything like Sauce looked like when he got here.
Yeah, I'm
Sauce
talking about the
I know.
slender wide.
Sauce was about
tall, the length.
156.
Yeah, I heard.
when he got here.
I heard. But he has that length that you want, man, that you can't find. It's hard to find really long DBs that can really do exactly what you want to do day in and day out. but he's one of them. So we're excited about him.
Jaquan Sanks at the star position. How hard is it to find a player that fits that mold, and what do you expect him to bring in, kind of filling in that run stopper and also pass coverage?
Well, sometimes now I think, with that position, with the way the game of football is going, you're seeing so many high school defensive coordinators and just head coaches and whatnot. They're going to these packages now to where you have to put a guy there to be able to match their personnel, the 11 personnel, the 10 personnel looks, to where you can place them and you can bring them and things of that nature. So now you're able to actually go and look for some of those guys. Used to, you have to say, all right, project, a corner that can do that, or project a safety that can do that. Nowadays, man, you can really go to some of the high schools and find those type of kids. So to be able to get a kid like Jaquan, who, when I say is a smart football player, is really, really, really smart and knows the game, plays the game the right way. He would send me clips of one-on-ones in practice and things that makes Coach, what I need to do to work on here. How I need to play this, how I need to play that. So, and this is a kid in high school, sending a coach that, he's not even playing for yet, but is committed to us, but trying to get more feedback, all the time. And he's just a kid that's always smiling. But again, he just won a state championship. So he's a winner, and that's what we want in his program, a lot of winners that know how to win and know how to compete each and every day.
I asked Coach Sapp this, and you just kind of touched on it. Central High, Alabama.
Yeah. Great football.
Is it important to find kids that are from these programs
No question.
They have great coaching, they have great strength conditioning?
No question. You're exactly right. And because we have success with those guys. Yeah. You think about our days at App State winning all those championships, we had so many guys from different programs that were like this, and they brought that winning culture into an already winning culture. And that's what we're trying to get done here, is get this place to be a truly, truly winning culture, and what Coach Satterfield wants from the top down. And we most definitely can get that done. But it's important to find guys that are like that.
And it's not to say that guys are from small
No, absolutely
don't know
not.
how to win, but it is to say there's a culture.
Absolutely.
You're Cincinnati high school football.
Absolutely.
St. X, Coleraine. Like you go down Highlands in Northern Kentucky.
That's right.
They know they're raised into it.
Absolutely.
It's different.
No question. You're exactly right. And it just goes back to I think they did a study years ago, just from the different type of schools and the different areas of guys that's playing in the NFL right now. And it shows, it really does show that those things do matter and they do come up.
Lindrick Barber, 6'4", 305. It's a big boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your vision for him in this defense?
Man, Big Dog is going to do some things for us. He's a big guy that can swing, can play nose, can play boundary in, but he is quick. He's a quick kid that can move. And to be that big, that's, when you're looking across the sideline, knowing that, we're just getting into the Big 12. Yeah. And as our offense is on the field, I'm looking at those defensive linemen and all the rest of the guys. I'm like, yeah, this is what it's supposed to, kind of look like, essentially. So had to get a guy like that, but I'm just excited about him. He's very powerful, can move, nimble feet. And so it's going to be, really, really good to have him here and to learn from, the likes of a Dante and Eric Phillips to kind of show him the ropes. And so we're excited about Lindrick.
Defensive lineman Garrison Butler, 6'1", 280 out of Jacksonville, Florida. Does he fit that mold of what you're trying to build in terms of pass rush?
Absolutely. GB is a good one now. Great family as well. GB can move. With us doing a lot of the, the slant and angle and the things of that nature and just getting to the pass. So that's what we want to do, and that's what we had in Louisville. He fits that mold. He really does. And he's going to come in here and he's going to get stronger. He's going to get bigger as well. And so that's what we want to do. We want our guys to be really quick up front, give Dante some room to work with his big butt, his strong butt. So so we got some guys now, I think, on the edge, and we'll get those guys from the portal as well.
I got this one.
Okay.
I'm excited about this one. Marcus Parker. I've heard nothing but great things. His tape is really eye-opening. How did he slip through the cracks of SEC country, and how were you able to identify and land him? I think by the grace of God. And just being honest, I think by the grace of God, you really think about a guy that of his stature, 6'4", 265. All right, and that may be being a little bit generous, but you think of a guy like that came to our camp. Coach Walt worked him out, and
they called me down. I was down on the big field, and they said, you need to come watch this kid. I went and watched him, and he can move. I mean, he can move, and we were blown away that day. But just he has a motor that just does not stop, and he just keeps going and going like the damn Energizer Bunny, and that's what you got to have up front. And he reminds me so much of the guys that we had at Louisville, like a Yaya Diaby when he first got to us. He wasn't that way, but he grew into that way. And this kid's body reminds me of that kid. So hopefully we can get a good bit out of him. I think we will. And so I'm excited about this one now. He's very, very special.
There's not a lot of talk of young guys, especially on the lines,
yeah.
being able to come in
Yes.
and help. I've heard some rumblings that if he does it right, if he works hard, which I don't think anybody sees as a problem, there's a belief he might be able to find that rotation as a freshman.
I agree. And that's what we're hoping, and we tell all these kids, no matter what, it's up to you to come in and play, You got to come in and put the work in, and if you can get it done, we're most definitely going to put you on the football field. And I think he's going to be one of those kids that it's going to be hard to keep him off the football field.
Linebacker Monte Whedon out of the D.C. area. How does he fit with that kind of dynamic of the Dorian Jones and Jack Dangle when he's going to be paired with Simeon Coleman?
Yeah, he reminds me of Debo, just from, Debo's high school film as well. And he's a thumper. He's a how can I say it? He's kind of like a made-ready, college football player with the way he looks already, and a smart football player as well that loves the game. He comes from another football program like we talked about that loves the game, that loves football and teaches the kids the right way and practice hard, like they get after it, and so he's going to bring that mentality, to where it's, I want you to run that ball in the A gap, and I know that's where you're going. Yeah. I'm gonna meet you right there in the hole. Let's see what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's the type of kid he is, and it gives me chill bumps just thinking about him already because I know that's the type of kid he is, and that's what you got to have in his defense. But just in defense in general, you got to have mentality. And like I told both of those guys, him and Simeon, you coming from Maryland, one of the best linebackers that ever played in the state of Maryland, Baltimore, by the name of Ray Lewis. So y'all better bring some of that mentality, down here to Cincinnati. So I'm excited about Monte as well.
Daniel James, kind of a late bloomer. Not sure how much you pay attention to Randy. He goes from a 3-star to a 4-star to 2.47. What did you see from him this past year that he improved so much?
I think the biggest thing for him is, the improvement that you saw was just awareness at that position, because you have some guys that, if they're supposed to have the flats, they're not in the flats. Some guys that, I see a corner out, I know I have the flat, but I'm getting ready to elevate because I see the quarterback action is taking me that way. Yeah. Now I can elevate and go pick the football. Some guys just don't have that. And that's one thing that he has. He's gotten a lot better with his awareness with football and situational football as well. But he's a fast kid that can cover. And Daniel is, his parents are awesome. I mean, they're great people. And so I'm excited that we're able to get him and hold on to him, with that 4-star rating, but I'm excited. I know may not be excited as Kerry is, but Kerry is super excited about DJ coming in here and helping us out this season.
Local guy with some versatility at defensive back, Quentin Price, 6'3", 180. He's got some size. Could be a guy that you never know how he grows, how he develops, but you're bringing him in with the raw tools.
Absolutely, he is raw as raw can be. But that's what you want. That's why they call us coach, to be able to help develop these young men, to be the players that we think that they possibly can be. And Quentin is a guy, came to camp as well, long, and guys could not get off a press with him. Could not. And when they did, if he was, in the hip pocket, they wasn't catching the ball because he was so long, and he was just reaching in and PBU after PBU or pick after pick. And that's what you got to have, man. I want guys that, as a guy that I used to work with, I want you to be in like Siamese twins when you're in the back end. We don't need all that space, right? We need some Siamese twin DBs, and he most definitely, shown us this past summer that he can play some Siamese twins coverage, and so we're excited about Quentin as well, that could possibly end up growing into something else, a safety, just don't know yet, but he's going to help us, and he's glad that we're able to get one right out of our backyard.
Safety, final high school guy, Marquavius Sabor, another Georgia kid, Cal High School, a good one.
Yes.
Tell us about him.
Yes. He wants to try to hurt you. That's what he wants to do. He wants to try to hurt you when he hits you, and that's playing the safety position. You got to be smart and strategic in how you do that nowadays. But he has that mentality, and that's what you want. The first time I met him when he came, he came on his visit at one point in time, and he had skates on, and I was like, oh, this kid has on skates on a visit. Like, what are we doing? But then you get to know the kid, and he's just a great kid that just thinks outside the box, but knows his X's and O's. He comes from a program that we've signed multiple kids out of there in the years past. Great coaching, and they went to the playoffs and things of that nature. But he is a kid that works his butt off. Broke his ankle last year. Played both ways, played DB as well as receiver. Great ball skills, really, really great ball skills. And, he caught a lot of passes, and I told Coach Satnam, listen, you can't come over here and mess with that one. Leave that one. That one's mine now. We got to get more interceptions and win the turnover battle. But Quavo, as we call him, Quavo is a good football player that I'm excited to have in that back end.
And then a couple transfers added. I'm going to skip one. You can do Micah Coleman. Nothing against Micah Coleman, but George Gums fascinates me.
Yes.
He was a wide receiver, and then he was a tight end. Now he's a defensive end.
Yes.
And a lot of times, guys that have this kind of body change, this kind of development, we hear about those guys on Sundays.
Yeah, no question.
And when you look at him, he looks different. Like he's long, he's muscular.
Absolutely.
He's, I think, a big one. He
is a huge one for us. When you watch his film and you hear that story about, where he came from and, from a football standpoint, two-parent home, great parents, awesome parents. They were caterers back in the day, not too long ago actually, and met them, on a visit. But to be able to put on the weight that he put on this past summer, they said, hey, you got to put on 20 pounds. All right, cool. 20 pounds is done. Put it on, and play the way he played. Just playing a position 1 year, not even 1 year. So they moved into that position in August, July, whatever it was. And you just see the athletic ability. You see the rawness, of course, but then when you sit there and talk to the kid and you see him progress as the season kept getting on, going on, you see him understand, okay, all right, I see where the tackle, he's getting ready to down block. I know where I need to be. He's coming at me. Now I need to take, one step this way. That's fascinating to me because you hadn't played the position at all, and his ceiling is so freaking high because he has not touched the surface of his weight, his strength, his speed, and I think, I know Coach Nico is going to get him right in that weight room to where he's going to put on another 20 pounds. The next year he may put on another 15, and he's going to be a household name soon. And we're excited about him because we got to get out to the pasture, and he's one that most definitely can.
Another defensive end, Micah Coleman from Eastern Michigan. Was he kind of that lanky speed rusher that you guys are missing?
Absolutely. That's what you got to have in this league. I mean, the Big 12, so many RPOs, and you got to be able to convert from a run to a pass rush, just like that. And Micah's shown us that. He's shown that on film, 6'5", 253. Again, he's another one that's going to put on some weight, once he gets here and get into a great nutrition and weight room habits, with what we do here. But yes, we needed that, and he fits that mold, and so we're excited about Micah, coming in and contributing immediately. And both him and George, it's like, you got new toys you're ready to play with, right? so I'm glad that we were able to get those two guys on board with us right now.
Ormani Arnold, DB, comes from Idaho. Idaho had one of the better defenses in all the FCS last year.
Yes.
How motivated do you think he is to prove that he can continue that at this level?
Very, very motivated. He's a kid that has multiple years left. And that was key for us, as we're looking at the portal and not just trying to get, the 1 year guys all the time because you don't know what your roster going to look like the next year. So now you're able to get, a young kid that's playing DB, that's shown that he can do it at the FCS level, that plays really hard and competes his butt off quick, really quick, and plays the ball well and has really good ball skills. That's what we want. And then when you finally meet him in person, he checks the other box of the character piece that we talked about, that we want in this program. And so it's really great to get, Armani in here, man, and I'm excited to get him on that football field come January.
Kai Stokes.
Yes.
Ohio State, and he's got some connections to
Yes.
the recruiting staff and
Yes.
Nico and some of the people here.
That's right.
Talk about getting him in the fold.
It was awesome. The first thing when I talked to the kid on the phone, and the first thing that I talked to his DB coach at Ohio State in Perry, and talked to the other guys there as well, and then of course the guys that are here that were affiliated with Ohio State. The first thing that every single person talked about, how great of a kid he was, the character piece, and that's huge. I mean, that is huge for us. And Kai, I mean, he lights up a room when he walks in. He's smiling. I mean, he's just an awesome kid. He's one of those kids. He has a girlfriend, but he's one of those kids that you wouldn't mind your daughter dating. That's the type of kid he is. And so I'm excited about this one. To be having the back end, we got to get some more safeties in here that can cover as well. He can run like the wind, and that's what we need, speed in that back end. And Kai most definitely is going to help us there. And so we're excited that we were able to be able to steal that one out of the portal and keep him here in Ohio.
You gotta be careful with Perry.
Yeah,
Trouble.
he seems like a great dude to me. I've talked to him for many years, so he's a good one.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Defense coordinator Bryan. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Have a good one. Thank you, guys.